yesterday, and I was just like,
I was out chasing eagles.
I know,
It
that was
was
amazing.
really cool.
You said there was a nest like by your house, right?
No,
No?
well, there's a nest somewhere. I've never seen the nest.
I thought you said there was one like.
No, somebody commented about a nest, I think, on one of the posts
Okay.
that they have, but
I should.
all I said was that it was,
Hello.
that it was not many things are more beautiful than two bald eagles at Lake Sarah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, stunning. I heard the Mike talking to the kids in the background.
I know, but I turned the volume. Thought I should listen to this to make sure nobody says anything weird. It's like, no, I think everything they said was okay.
Yes, it was.
I think it was.
Cameron?
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. Sucking on a mint. Oh, there's some water over there.
You know, Owen started wrestling a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's part of why he's sick. Like, there's just so much
Contact.
You know, they're all in each other's space.
Don't let them get, what do they call it, on the ear?
Right. Oh,
Cauliflower.
cauliflower ear. I have a friend who wrestled in high school and had, like, his ear is still just so swollen and not swollen. I mean, it's permanently.
Mark, what was his name? I can't believe I can't think of it now. Mark, who ran the YMCA here.
Oh,
He's got those ears. He was in 1976. He was like destined to be the gold medal winner in wrestling for his weight.
Really?
And Carter, I think it was President Carter, said, nobody's going to the Olympics this year. So he didn't get it. And then they invited them all to, Mark came to my house for an ALC. And I think I've got the story right, that Carter invited all the athletes, gave them a pseudo medal. Like, oh, you didn't get to go, but here's a medal from the White House.
Well, that's nice,
And
I guess.
He told me he threw it away.
Really? He was not interested in that.
He was not, he was so mad that he didn't get to do that. You know, can you put the cursor up there? I think you have to do. Yeah.
I really want this stuff.
It's not working still.
Yeah,
the cursor's got to be up there.
Yeah, when she's down there,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not gonna work. You have to wait.
Oh, now it's still not working.
But now I have to.
When she finishes her Zoom, then she'll click up there and you'll be half open.
We've got several people on Zoom, Scott, so. I wonder if I should sit here and answer questions or admit people.
Oh, to see if
Would that be
there's a
helpful?
question. Yeah, probably so. But it's still not working.
She has to click up.
Once I click there.
Sorry,
I
actually.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
I've been to too many of these events, even very professional speakers, and they're just ready to go. And it's like,
We're making progress, but we still have a little ways to go. It's just a little complicated. But Nikki and I have plans.
Yes, we do. Simplify some things.
Yep, we're gonna simplify and easier for everybody. Five people on Facebook. Hi, everybody.
who's all on?
Cameron, Kieran, Carter, Barry. My, who's coming in?
Have you been to London, Katie?
Yes. Have you been to London?
My nephew's there now, and he's
Caleb?
no.
Oh.
A different the Bechtel side, not the end side. Anyway, he sent a picture. One of his sons was the son that played soccer for Triple A college, St. Olaf out of Minnesota. And they won the national championship
Oh, that's
2
cool.
years ago. Yeah.
That's
So
really cool.
he got some nice tools. Got to meet the governor. Is it the governor?
Christy Tyndall's here. You've got like 8 people.
Can
on
you
here.
see me, or do I need to be somewhere?
I can sort of see you. I just hate where our camera is up there. We're working on a new solution. Hi, everybody. Okay, well, it is 9:15. You start anytime you want. They're not trying.
Now it is.
Although, our guest is not on here. Should I bring
She's
her?
right outside with Christy, or with Kristen.
Patrick?
Alice wants to make money.
Yeah.
Am I the only one?
No, there's,
Oh, you're not the only one.
I want to make money.
You are not. I think we're ready. Yeah, let's go. Let's rock and roll.
Scott, did you meet Jamie?
I did. I wanted to hear I told her I knew all the good stuff. She said, well, you haven't heard all the bad. I said, well, we have time.
It probably will lend itself very well to what you're gonna talk about today.
Good.
This is money. Here's how you save it.
Oh. You should have started 20 years ago.
My mom brought them to me.
Do I?
My mom was like, here. I was like,
Well, thanks for showing up today, and
Thanks, Mom.
I appreciate people on, there's what, 7 or 8 people on
Yeah.
is that Facebook Live?
It's Zoom.
Zoom Live.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for being here, everybody. Welcome. And so today I want to talk about a lot about, well, it's all about wealth building. And then we're going to go through, if those of you that remember David Letterman's top 10 list, is anybody, I know lots of
Mhm.
people.
Yeah, I'm that age.
That.
I remember.
Oh,
David
yeah,
Letterman.
top 10
But I want to first talk about, you know, I think there's a lot to say about the difference between wealth and being rich. Anybody want to take a stab at what they think the difference between wealth and riches?
Wealth is long.
Kind of sounds like the same thing.
Wealth is long lasting.
Wealth is long lasting. That's a good one.
Where, can I?
Anybody else? Hey, Megan.
Sometimes feels like when we talk about one or the other, a perception could be one has to deal with money and finances. And one, you know, when I think about being wealthy, it can be, you know, my grandkids make me feel wealthy.
Oh,
Well,
that's a
I
guess
wondered
option.
if somebody would say that to go, you know, like you could be wealthy and be a poor person because you have your health, you have everything you want
Yeah.
in life. You might not aspire to be rich, but you might you might feel very wealthy. But probably the biggest difference that I see and understand is rich is much like, think of being rich as somebody that is making a lot of money and potentially spending a lot of money too. Basically, they think of it as a paycheck. And what I want you guys to be thinking about during this is more, think of your portfolio. Okay, think of income producing items you can buy. Think of items that you can buy that will go up in value. You know, there's always the person that buys some baseball for $10 at a garage sale and sells it for $10 million. You know, that's an asset. He or she bought an asset, and it went up in value. Okay, so that's a cool thing. So rich is how much money you make. Think about that. How much money you make. Wealth is how long you can live without making money. That's what I really want you to think about there too, is could anybody in this room quit today and have enough income coming in? Anybody?
No.
Megan could? Okay. Not calling you out, but I just called you out, I guess. So yeah, so you could retire today and have enough income coming in. Okay. Yeah. I think I don't want you to be the lone piper here. I think I could.
And how do you find that out?
Well, income minus expenses. So how much, if you didn't work at all, how much money would you make coming in? And then what are your expenses? You know, there was a great speaker, many of you, some of you might remember, Howard Brinton, and Chris Bird, if you remember Chris Bird, worked with Howard Brinton a lot. And Chris, I think it was, told me that Howard made, and this was going back, and you know, some of my stories are 35 years old, so bear with me, but Chris said, oh yeah, Howard made $1 million in his company, but he spent more than $1 million in his company. You know, so that's not good. But wealth, how long can you live without making money? So does that make sense, Barb? Did that answer kind of what
I
you're
was-
thinking?
Yeah, I think part of that too is making sure that you have a good partner or a good financial advisor that can help you with that thought strategy.
That's true. That's true. We're even going to talk about that too. All right, so this may be a little bit of a repeat, but if your income stops tomorrow and you're instantly broke, you're wealthy. Is that true or false? Probably false. Probably false. And let's see, there was another, I asked Chap for a few questions about what is the term, and this is a class here, so what is the term money keeps coming in even if you aren't working? What kind of income is that?
Passive.
Passive, that is absolutely correct. And that's really what you want to strive for, okay, is having that passive income, whether you're working or not, you have passive income coming in. All right, so I'm going to get into my top 10 list here, and you know this I like when we teach class. I like these just to be open conversations. You know, you can raise your hand if you want, but you can often. I want it to be participatory. Okay, so feel free to ask questions. Feel free to jump in. Feel free to agree. Feel free to sort of disagree. So, all right, Katie, let's try one more time.
Now
Did it get turned off?
I don't think so.
Here?
Try one more time. we
There.
go.
Okay, so top 10 list for wealth building. Okay, so the first thing you have to know is what makes you want to build wealth. Like we talked about just a minute ago with Jeff, some people may not have a lot of net worth, and they're very, very wealthy. But what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What is your big why towards wealth? Okay, and you need to think about, you don't have to answer, but you need to think about why you want to do it. And I'll share one of mine is leaving a legacy for my family. That's real important. That may be, yours may be the same. Yours may be because you want to retire at 32. Yours may, it could be any number of things that drives you to be wealthy. I did not grow up wealthy, believe me. I did not grow up wealthy. Maybe some of you guys did, maybe some of you guys didn't. You don't have to disclose whether you did or you didn't. Anybody have a thought on this? What, you know? Yeah, maybe.
Well, I started investing in real estate when I was able to keep my first house 20 years ago. And I started because my first tenant said, you know, what my friends did is they bought a house for every kid going to college. And when they went to college, they sold the house, you know.
Yeah.
The renters paid the mortgage. When they went to college, they sold the house, the kid went to college. And I've learned better than that you just refinance the house. So I was actually able to refinance that house last year to send my son on this gap year program.
Perfect.
And he's going to Parkland for the rest of the time. So
Megan, I was the
That's
same.
the change.
I was the same way. I heard that again, long time ago about buying a house for every kid. It was a sales tool that we all had as realtors to be able to say, hey, Barb, you know, you're closed on your house. You ever thought about buying a rental property? You've got 3 kids, you could do this. And so it was a way to maybe potentially sell an investment property to your people. But when my kids got to college, okay, I didn't want to sell my properties, okay? And Paul Miller, Barb, you would remember Paul Miller. Paul Miller and I, well, there was a company years and years ago called Miller & Miller. And Paul, he wasn't very active in the business, but he was kind of the quiet person behind the scenes. And but one day I was talking to Paul, and he sat there and he told me, we were talking about buying investment properties, and he told me, he goes, oh, I bought this property, and I bought this one, and then I sold this one, and then I sold this one, and he just had this real dumbfounded look on his face, and he sat there quietly. He was a quiet man. He sat there and kind of shook his head. He goes, I guess I shouldn't have sold them. So I pick up on things like that. Okay, now it's okay to sell a property. I'm not saying it's not. But if you're wanting to build wealth, one of the best ways, Joe, you're an investor, you've got good property. One of the best ways is not to sell them. And if you did, I did sell my first investment property, but I did a 1031 exchange and I bought 2 properties with that money. And we can talk about a 1031 exchange later. I don't know if Ben Franklin would be able to talk about that Friday, maybe so. But knowing what your big why is really, really important. Does anybody want to share what their big why is? Mine, I told you, was I want to leave a legacy. Mike, did you want to?
Yes, backing up on the thing that you just mentioned, that you should not sell the property. I just want to give you, that, I mean, I have been investing in properties since a long time when you were on Neil Street.
Yeah.
I'm talking about 79, that was the first time I bought property. And then, buying and selling property and so on over the years. And you know that over the years, my only major source of income was really the investment property or the rental income. Because at the university, I was not making too much and so on. So anyway, I'll come back to that later on. But going back to this, not selling the property, I bought one property in 2000, one of the properties in Urbana. Builder was going through foreclosure and all those things. I looked at the property and it was almost a new construction, needed some work to be done. Bought it at good price, good terms and everything. They were having divorce and all. I knew both the people. So I helped both of them, not to have a $200,000 property, but maybe have 100,000 each and save the credit and all. Did that, bought the property, and then whatever work needed to be done, I gave him back the contract. Over the years, you can imagine this is 2025. I paid it off in 2010.
Yeah.
So after 2010, like you said, don't sell it. I didn't, because now that is my income.
Yeah.
There's no, except there is no mortgage payment. Only thing you're paying is the taxes and the insurance and so on, and you're getting good reasonable, $1,500-$1,700 rent per month.
That's a perfect example of not selling it, keeping it for the income. So thank you, Mike. So, yes.
I'll just say something about the kind of the big why, and I think sometimes we think that our big why has to be the most spectacularly written situation, and you can articulate it and all of that, but and things, they do change definitely after you reach certain goals that may have
That's right.
helped form your big why or whatever. But I've tried to make sure that my kids, which they are part of my big why, kind of do things responsibly. And my oldest son Christian had a property, and I really encouraged him to keep his property before he bought another property. And so he did that. He had renters, and it's worked out well. He called me yesterday, the renters are moving. Can you help me find a new tenant, that type of thing. So being able to help them so that it's not so overwhelming for them that they won't, keep the rental properties or, do it. But I think it's going to help them to build wealth, which is ultimately, what my goal is.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we've got a unique situation in our ability to, help our loved ones with those properties as well.
So you want to leave a legacy as well. Maybe other things is your big why, but leaving a legacy, I know your boys are important to you. Yeah. Joe, did you have a comment?
I was just going to say, I think being able to, everybody's changed, I think, over the course of time as probably should, but I think to live a comfortable life, if you grow up in the mindset where the money is scarcity, and now you're in a job where you make a lot of money, being comfortable and be able to do what you want when you want is amazing.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Called financial freedom, right? Called financial freedom. Okay, so number 9, how many, this is putting everybody on the spot. How many people have a net worth statement that they look at?
And you get back to me.
No, getting back, you don't have.
No, I'm not.
Okay, Megan, you do, is it your hand
You
up?
have one, it just needs updated.
I did it once a long time ago, you need to do it again.
Yeah, I'm saying,
And you do
I've done
one
it,
thing.
but I haven't like.
Okay, so when I was buying some properties, the bank was like, oh, you gotta fill out this stupid long form, and I thought, I am not gonna do that every time I wanna buy a piece of property. So I just created my own net worth statement on a Excel spreadsheet. I can go into it, I update it probably every couple of weeks. I look at it. May not make any changes on it, but if you bought an asset, if you did something, you got a nice check, you did whatever, you might want to update it. And it's really fun. It's really fun. But please, if you get one thing out of the course here today, is have a net worth statement. And do you want to define what net worth is, Barb?
Income minus,
No.
assets minus
Assets.
liabilities.
Assets minus the liabilities. Sorry to call you out on that.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's your assets. It's what you own. If you own a house, if you own a car, if you own jewelry, if you own whatever, minus what you owe. Okay. So it's just that simple. And it's really fun to watch it grow. Okay. I remember I probably have had one for 30 some years. I probably got on Barb. Amanda Price, for those of you, I should call her up today because I really was on her to get hers, and I think she eventually did it. I'm hoping she stays up there. She's building some nice net worth. But have a net worth. This is not to call anybody out. Even if yours is a negative number, in other words, you own $100,000 house, but you have $150,000 in liabilities, it's a negative $50,000 net. Start with negative 50,000. It's okay. You now have a goal to get to 0, to have a net worth of 0. Then your next goal is to X. Okay. So don't worry, even if you're not going to like the results. Get it done and then just pay attention to it and watch it grow. Yes.
Do you value your houses and things you own on what their current market value is or what you paid for them?
Oh, current market value.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. What is it? What are the assets worth? It's whatever they're worth.
So every month, every year it could change your house.
Yeah,
the market
There were
value.
years with all my rental properties that like, it was like, well, I haven't seen a lot of this. And then there's been years that it's done this. And to me, that's fun to watch. Yes.
Another reason that I like updating it regularly is because what you focus on expands. So if you're putting it in front of you
100%.
more regularly, then you're more focused.
Yeah, and then the best part of it too is when the banker says, hey, can you fill out this form? I say, no, but I'll send you my Excel spreadsheet. And I just sign it, I date it, and I give it to them, and it's worked probably 40 times to do that. So I have a net worth statement.
The fun part about this is you will accidentally discover that on paper you're a millionaire.
Yeah. And look what Joe said about becoming a millionaire. If you're not a millionaire, then write down the date that you discover that you are a millionaire. Okay.
You did it.
Okay.
Have number 8. I like David Letterman. Number 8. Have multiple streams of income. I think I mentioned to you, I did not grow up with much money. My mom was a music teacher. My dad was worked at a trucking company, and they were about the most consistent. Dad was 8 to 5 with an hour, 12 to 1 lunch, home every day. It was so consistent all the time, drove me a little crazy as I got older. But they basically had 2 streams of income set out, and you know, this is a class too that I really want you to stretch yourselves. Okay, how many people have more than 1 stream of income? Okay, see, that's good. That's really good. How many streams of income? You don't have to answer this. How many streams of income do you want?
7.
At least 7. Right?
Nice.
3?
At least 3.
Yeah. How about 10?
That'd be nice.
Thought 10. Take the number and double it. That's right. That's always a good, yes.
Like, where would you find that many streams of income?
I'm sorry.
Where would you find that many streams of
Oh.
income?
Joe, go.
So you're real estate, right? So when I look for streams of income, I like to find things that are also related to what I do. So buying investment properties is one stream of income.
So if you had, say, 5 income properties with, that's 5 different streams, is that how you would count
That's
that?
one.
That's one.
I would count it as one.
Oh, okay.
Profit share would be one.
Investment
company.
properties too.
Yeah, if you own a title company within Keller Williams, we have a title company, that could be 2. Your commission income, your real estate business. Did we say real estate already? No?
Yeah.
When you reach a retirement age and you have a retirement, that would be number 5. You could also have Social Security coming in, all of a sudden it's 6. It doesn't take a lot to figure out that you could have 10 streams of income pretty easily. You see what I mean? I know, and I love your question, first of all, because it's almost mind-boggling. Like, what do you mean 10 streams of income? I can't do 10 jobs. No, wealthy people have assets that produce income. So have assets that produce income. That's the goal. It's not having 10 jobs, okay?
Could we brainstorm some other ways? What are some other ways?
Mike, do you have another way?
Yeah, the only thing is, maybe I might say the only problem is that we concentrate only on one area. So when you're talking about real estate, correct me if I'm wrong, we're only talking about buying, selling, and so on. Right? The thing that we are totally, ignoring, or maybe I should say not looking at, there are multiple sources of income right there in real estate that we don't even talk about.
What are they, Mike?
Okay, so there, if you are a little bit more aggressive and have more investing, go for pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, short sales, bank-owned properties, distressed properties, divorce cases, probates, tax income, like tax liens, and so on. But the thing is, we don't concentrate on that.
Those are other
Those are
forms of real estate
You can have
investment.
10 of them.
But Barb, to answer your question, was that a question?
Well, I just have an idea.
Okay.
Do you want to finish what you're saying?
Okay, to answer your question, Barb, as far as what are other streams, what if you owned an ice cream shop? What if you owned a property management company? What if you owned a maintenance company for the property management company? I think, don't you do that, Megan? What if it's always buying a business, buying assets, buying things that will go up. Anybody else have any other?
Just creating a business.
You could create a business.
I always go to online courses. Like, you guys are so smart in your area. You can easily make an online course and sell it, and it's super passive. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's,
We have a new agent in Effingham. Glenn Phillips is his name, and he owns several patents.
Wow.
So there's an idea, create something, get it patented, sell it. I mean, I don't know what if that's in your ballgame, but he also owns, how many food trucks? Glenn?
oh.
One or
I thought it
two?
was just one.
Okay, I thought he had okay, well, let's go with 2.
Two, that's what I meant.
Well,
We're
I
giving
know
Glenn
he's
another.
building a second one, remember?
Okay, I didn't hear that.
But, so he works, he has patents, he owns food trucks. These are all sources of income to him.
Question from Zoom.
Yes.
Carter, are we able to do property management with our real estate license?
That is a little
Only
bit.
your properties.
Only your property.
Only your properties. Anybody else have any other new ideas?
Well, with Keller Homes, I'm a mortgage lender.
Oh, great
There you
idea. That's a great idea. Yeah. Mike, did you have another income producing
Yeah,
item?
if it's not your area, like you mentioned, ice cream shop or, gas station or whatever it is, maybe you can partner with somebody who is into that for a long time.
Yeah.
You know that they're doing good, you can have certain percentage, 5, 10, 15, 20, what we can. At least, there's a side stream type of income coming.
Yeah, perfect. All right, let's go with any.
Open up a Robinhood account and invest some money in
$10.
stocks, figure out that for fun.
They pay $10.
I made
Yes.
$70,000 off of Dogecoin years ago, just for fun. What are you guys doing?
Wow.
Are like, well, multiple streams
income, so not necessarily like gold or silver if you own that.
Sure, it could go up.
Maybe that would go on your net,
But it's definitely on your net worth statement.
yeah.
You know, if you own 10 ounces of gold, it's at what, 3,500?
4,400.
Okay, I'm behind on that. So that, you know, $44,000 right on your end, you know, especially if you own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have that. Oh. All right, so we've already hashed over this quite a bit, buy real estate. So what I want to tell you about that is, you know, we only have so much time on the earth, okay? I bought several Southwood homes. And one of the houses I bought was, I never forget this, paid $83,500. Today it's probably worth $250. Okay, still generating the income on that property. Have to pay the taxes, have to pay, you know, have to find rent. You know, when we talk about owning real estate, not everybody is set up to be a real estate investor. And what I mean by that, if you will get upset because somebody calls and they have a stuffed toilet. Do you know how many stuffed toilets I've had in 35 years?
Is that like clogged?
I can't even think of one.
Literally
Okay,
stuff.
I've had other things, you know, a dishwasher leaking or something like that. But your goal really. should
Squeaky
be-
garage door.
Yeah, well, yeah, I had a tenant, you know, I try to look at the positive on most things. I had a tenant back up into the garage door. Her insurance company bought me a new garage door and a new garage door opener. Not a bad deal, right?
And renter's insurance is super cheap.
And, yeah,
I've got a super funny story.
okay.
So with Christian's little Tamarack Court property that he has, I think it was like maybe even last January, was just getting ready to sign a contract to have a full bath remodeled. And the tenants, like literally the night before or something, caught the bathroom on fire with a candle and like a little towel and so anyway, he got that whole bathroom remodel for their insurance.
That's fun. That's fun.
Tenants?
And the renters insurance?
Yeah, they had renters insurance, yeah.
See, that's
know what,
one
you
thing we
guys-
should as a tenant. That's the problem.
Isn't that funny though?
That
I
is
mean,
funny.
That's like,
That's a good story.
yeah.
So we're in the real estate business. You should all be looking at buying real estate. Now, would somebody ever have a question like, I found a property, I don't know how to buy it? Does anybody ever have that question? Like, I don't have the down payment money. I don't have this. I don't have whatever all day long, but figure it out. Find a way to do it. Get a hold of a lender. Get a hold of a friend. Get a hold of your parents. Get a hold of somebody to give you the money. When I was buying rental real estate, however many properties I owned, I always had a 6th mortgage. If I owned 6, I had a 7th mortgage. And that was because I was borrowing money to make those purchases. Now, I don't have that anymore. In fact, I've got several of my properties already paid off. Let me tell you, when somebody pays you $1,800 a month and you don't have a mortgage on that property, that's a pretty nice feeling, okay? So buy real estate.
Talking of that, if you can't afford it, if you're really, pretty aggressive and all, there are so many ways. So for example, I'll tell you long back what we did. Number one is equity participation. If I can't afford it, I can have 2 more people, and buy it together. So that way it's 1/3, 1/4 or whatever. What we also did here on campus, which was really unique, was like you have so many condos, rental properties and so on, and so many international students. So, like first year they have to live in the dorm. So when their parents come here to, help them in settling and all those things, they go and look at the dorm. The dorm room is like this size. And you're paying $600. The room, you have seen the dorm. And still there are 2 beds. So when they come back and they look at it, $600 and then they immediately multiply that by the local currency, it becomes very, very expensive.
Yeah.
And then these 2-3 friends, they become friends and they are sharing that room. Next year, what we have suggested is, why don't you buy your own condo? We can show you all those capstone and all those things. And they literally, those 2 families got together and bought the condo.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
another
and it's
great
a-
idea to.
Exactly, and he said, we'll manage it for you, we'll pick up the rent, we'll do everything.
Yeah.
That was still
Yeah.
cheaper, and then 2, 3 years, you don't have to worry about changing the tenant, they are there. And then when they leave, okay, fine, you want to,
Well, the
sell it?
bottom line is, you're in the real estate business, you really should be buying rental. How many people in here own rental real estate? Okay, so not happy, so yeah, look at-
And if you
moved to Keller
don't,
Williams-
I'm
moved to
new to
Keller
it.
Williams and you bought your first rental.
I know.
and if you
Where's it
don't,
at?
that's okay
It's in
too.
Muhammad, around the corner from us, and my
Yeah, you
in-laws
don't
live
have to,
there.
you don't have to own.
So
real
it's a really nice situation for them and for us.
Okay, so number 6, understand that high
Yeah.
income is not enough. It depends on what you do with that income, okay? So not a whole lot more to say about that. Don't spend more than you make. And we have a tough job in the sense that we don't always know exactly what our income is going to be. We have systems in place to figure out that if you do these steps every day, you're likely to make X number of dollars, okay? So even though it's a commission-based job that we all have, high income is not enough. You have to own assets. This was something that I wish I would have done more of in much younger days. For those of you that are much younger, it's not too late for you, but read money books and meet with people. I've got a list of 5 top selling books. So let me read these to you and see if you've read any of them. The Millionaire Next Door. Raise your hand if you've read it. The Millionaire Next
That I
Door.
can,
Huh?
who's the author of that one?
Stanley and Dango.
Okay.
The Millionaire Real Estate book, I can tell you what it's all about anyway. It's about knowing the person that drives the 10-year-old car, that doesn't have the flashiest house in the neighborhood, that doesn't wear the fanciest clothes. That's probably the millionaire next door to you. 10 Simple Paths to Wealth. I've not read that. The Psychology of Money. I've read that. That's very good. Mark Willis recommended that book to me. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Sethi. Haven't read that one. And then Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Most of you probably have read. Here's a list of those right there. I've got 2 on that list that I haven't read and would like to do that. As far as meeting people with money also, I think that's, I haven't done, does anybody do that on a regular basis? Anybody do that kind of on a regular basis? No. I think it's a great idea. They say your income is based on the 5 people you spend the most time with.
The average of.
So it's what?
The average of the 5
The
people.
average of the 5 people. And you know what? That's probably, it has a lot of truth to it. I think that's a
Your
pretty.
network is your network.
Mhm.
Your network is your net worth. I love that. That's good. So don't be afraid to call people up you don't even know and go and meet with them. They would be thrilled to do it more than likely. There's a video, there's multiple videos. I can't think of the guy's name, but he goes up to people and sometimes he's being guarded by security people. He goes, "Hey, can I ask you a question? Where'd you make your money?" And, the guards are like, "What are you doing?" And these are people in front of their house or in a business or in a restaurant or whatever. And he just, "Hey, I just have 3 or 4 questions. I'd like to interview you." And several of them will say, "Oh, I recognize you." And then they start spilling their guts. Listen to videos about people that have made a lot of money. And one of the questions he asks, which is really pretty wild, he says, "What's the most amount of money you've made in a year?" Many of them, many of them say 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, $80 million. So they're not any different than anybody in this room, you guys. That's the thing I want you to also remember and take away from in this class. These are people that had some luck or invented something or did something. They're no different than any of us.
You could also get it into your algorithm. So when you're on Instagram or Facebook, you're seeing that instead of whatever other junk. If you just search it a few times and click on a few,
I love
then
that.
you'll see that.
So Mo Anderson is a super important person in the Keller Williams organization. If you're not aware of Mo,
going back, can you go back to the previous
Go
one?
back one.
Here. So, I guess people that know more than you, but also people that are wealthier than you are, right? Is what we're thinking here, right? Because obviously they know something you don't know, maybe. So in our market, how do we meet with the, how we get ourselves in front of those people? Not necessarily like Shad Khan or whatever, but like somewhere in between Shad Khan and where I am right now. How do I, without joining the country clubs, I don't play golf. How do I get myself in these?
Got it. Can I have your phone?
Yes.
You learn how to play golf.
You don't have to play golf to join the country club, yeah.
There's a social membership.
You ask. You ask. How did I get your phone?
Yeah.
You gave me your phone.
Yeah.
I asked you for your phone and you
Okay.
gave it to me.
Okay.
You took it over, Scott.
I wish I would have done more of this. I wish I would have done more of this. I'm telling you, that's a really key thing I think you guys would learn. If you're not meeting with people, do what Katie said. Look at some of these, videos and reels that are out there. There's a ton of them. There's no absence of. The other thing you could do is make a list of maybe 20 or 30 or 40 people that you'd like to meet with. And my guess is if you have a list of 20, 30, 40, 50 people that you'd like to meet with, I'll bet you at the end of the year, you would have met with some of those people. And I'll bet you that some of those people you would not have believed you could have met with,
They might even know who I am because of the billboard. They're like, oh, you're the guy. I actually with him. So I talked to him.
Yeah, no kidding. And you know why? Because Joe, you're going to be at a cocktail party. You're going to be at a Christmas party. You're going to be somewhere and they're going to say something. Let's say John Smith is who you want to meet with or is on your list. And somebody's going to say, yeah, I work for John Smith. All of a sudden you're meeting with somebody who is one step away from John Smith. You'll get there if you just have a list. But you have to identify who you want to meet with. I think that's really critical. So read books, read Mo Anderson. So Mo Anderson is the number 2 person behind Gary Keller. Okay, she's the one that really grew the company from like 40,000. No, I'm gonna say 3,000 agents all the way up to 175,000 agents now. She was the CEO. She was the president, and she is our cultural ambassador. She's somebody, if you haven't read a lot about Mo, you should definitely read about Mo. I wrote to Mo and I said, hey Mo, I'm teaching a class on wealth building. Can you send me your thoughts? Mo flew her, well, she didn't fly. She had her pilot fly her to Champaign, Illinois when we celebrated our $2 million or our $1 million profit share goal, and she flew her jet. Okay, so she does quite well. Her reply is here. I'm not going to read it all. If anybody wants to read it, it's here. But I put a couple of highlights on here. 10% should go to your church. 10% could go to your savings. 10% should go to your investment fund. And those are just cool things. And then this is a lot about her grandchildren telling her and thanking her for being such a disciplinarian when it came to philanthropic giving, savings, and investing. And her story is pretty good. And here's her reply that she sent to me.
And that was kind of another example of just ask, because we reached the goal of $1 million in profit share that had been shared back with the agents in our market center. And so because of that, we were so excited about it that we threw a pretty big party. And Scott asked if Mo would come, and then she brought Mary Tennant, who was one of the top 5 people. So they flew here, and they toured the Wounded Veterans Center at the same time. But I got a picture of Mary and Mo sitting in my office with their feet up on my agents' desks. My agents were not here the day that they were there, and it's a picture I've got in my office, and it's just, just a really fun time and that was another example of we asked and they came.
Yeah.
And it was really a special time. And those little things that we did helped put Champaign on
Absolutely.
you know, on the map of being a great market center. And then that didn't lead to that, but you know, when you step into kind of that level of knowing some really great people, then Scott was just acknowledged as top 100 OPs, you know, so it's all those little things and then becomes the great results that we get over time.
Yeah, exactly.
That was very
I love
long,
it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so Gary Keller, I also reached out to Gary Keller. Mo gives me this reply that's this long here. For those of you that know Gary Keller, his reply was this is all he sent to me, which was have a wealth goal. It's the biggest mistake you can make. You must have a target you're working towards. And I think about that, you know, when we set out years and years ago to start buying, we were in the real estate business, we wanted to buy some real estate, you know, buying 10 properties was going to be a really, really big deal. I wish back then I would have heard about this goal and I would have said, I want to buy 50. I do not own 50. I wish I would have said back then that I want to own 50 properties, and I probably would have. Just by getting out of the way of yourself and buying, it's your goal. That's what you set out to do. Anyway, I love that Gary sent this to us, and I love his answer too. He's always very brilliant about stuff like that. But another thing to really write down and get out of this class is have a wealth goal. How much, when you're ready to retire, how much money do you need to retire? How much money do you want to have? What does that look like? Do you want to own? Do you want to be a millionaire? Do you want to have 5 million in assets, 10 million in assets, 15 million? What do you want? What do you want to have? And I know those are things that have always been historically hard for me to understand. Like, well, I don't know. How do you write that down? Just do it. Just do it. Just write it down. Even if you set 10 million as your finance goal and you hit 9.2, I think you're going to be pretty happy. Okay. So this is a cool thing to do. When you're rich, you can give it all away. And I wrote here, Warren Buffett plans to give away 85% of his money, and I understand he's got a ton of money to give away. Even giving away $85 million, 85% of all of his wealth is pretty important. But you know, historically, a lot of the people had given away money a long, long time ago, and I'm trying to remember who was, Megan, you would know, who did the libraries? Carnegie. Never mind. I think I just did.
Oh.
And Andrew Carnegie.
I was gonna say Dolly Parton.
No.
That's what I was gonna say. Dolly Parton's giving away libraries.
Oh, well,
Ish.
and you know what? When you're wealthy, you can give it away, and what a cool feeling that is. But Andrew Carnegie, at one point, he lived over 100 years ago. At one point, he decided. I think the doctors gave him a year to live, and he ended up living like another 30 or some years, 35 more years, and died a very old man. But he gave away his money, and he built something like 2,500 libraries across the country. I grew up in a town south here, Tuscola, and I saw something on Facebook. It's been many years ago now, and they talked about it being a Carnegie library. And I thought, I didn't even know that story back then. But if you want to leave a legacy, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know that I have enough assets to give away money to build 2,500 libraries. And then, of course, you know, Carnegie Hall and all these other places as well. So when you're rich, you can give it away. The highest donation I ever was able to make was my daughter was a state level track runner in high school, and St. Thomas More was just building their track, and I was able to write a $5,000 check to them. And that meant a lot to me and my wife because we were able to do that, and it was something felt like we were giving back to the community, and we were giving back to our daughter as well.
Scott, I just wanted to add, talking about giving away locally, as you mentioned. our local billionaire Shahid Khan, I think he mentioned, comes from Pakistan. So he has given million to Shamir Public Library, just this very small token. But he has given to a lot of other places, charities, has spent a lot of money back home in Pakistan where he comes from to improve.
Good for him.
And good for him and so on. And you know that he owns this team and that team. I don't remember the name for all those things.
Yeah.
And his son, children, and all, they're all doing good. They all literally do that. I happen to know that because his son and my daughter were together at uni high, and now his son is doing really great. I mean, he's doing good, just like Shahid, and he's making good
But
money.
the point is, when you're rich, you can give money away, and giving away maybe $100 to your favorite charity, giving away maybe $1,000 to some. But I don't know about you guys, but when I give money away like that for a donation, I feel pretty good about it. Can't even imagine giving away so much money where you had to build 2,500 libraries. I mean, wow, that must have. And look, 100 years later, we're still talking about him and his legacy. So, if that's something you want to do, the last thing here, number one, is be patient. It will grow. Unfortunately, it doesn't grow overnight. It's like a good oak tree. But you know what? If you feed it regularly, I remember, if you are in this business, you're an independent contractor, you're likely to have a SEP IRA. And a SEP IRA is a self-employment pension. And you feed it. I remember feeding mine years and years and years and years ago. Okay. And at the time, probably not a lot. But you know what? I also knew that it would eventually grow. And it grew and grew and grew, and we still feed it to this day. Okay. It didn't feel, the hard part is that it doesn't feel like, if you put in $1,000, then the next year you put in another 1,000, woohoo, you've got $2,000. It doesn't feel like a lot of money, but then if you double that and it's 4, then you double that, it's 8, you double that, it's, all of a sudden you're going to see that wealth grow and grow and grow and grow. So, anybody have any other questions? Anything?
No questions, but maybe suggestion if I may give.
A what?
Suggestion.
Oh, a suggestion.
When you think of buying a property, or if you're buying actively and all those things, I've seen that, and that's why I'm sharing with you. And most of the time, people will buy it and so on. That's it. I think what they should do, which I have done personally over the last 40 years that I've been doing this, is anytime and every time you buy a property, think about your children. Make sure you put their name over there too. I put my children's name when they were in 5th, 7th grade, to the point they did graduation, master's, PhD, MD, you name it. So when they graduate, go out of the university 18 years later and so on, they've already established a credit. They've already established their own credit because they are on the deal and so on. So if they go for masters and so on to different cities and all, it becomes easy for them also to get the loan.
Well, I love that you said that, Mike. The point about that, as far as recommending anything like that to do, is just talk to your own financial advisor, talk to your own attorney, talk to the professional people that can guide and direct how you want that kind of thing. That's something that Mike must have set up. It worked for him. It may or may not work exactly for you as well. Okay, so just talk to your professional. Anybody have any other questions?
I haven't.
Yeah.
Invested in real estate, and this is one of my goals for 2026, that I'm going to have my first investment.
You haven't invested, but you're going to have it for this year. Why do you want to buy it?
I mean, after all, it's no more clear that I should. It is.
But make sure you're buying it for the right reason. Make sure you know what your big why is, and you buy it to match your big why. Good, congratulations. Let me know when it happens.
Yep, I mean, I think I need to be accountable to you, that you should ask me at the end of the year, did you do it or not?
I will mark it down on my calendar.
So
I'll ask you before then.
So we'll look for good deals and we'll share it with you.
Please, yeah.
Any other questions?
Or somebody,
Somebody on the chat?
Oh, that's a great.
What age did you invest in your first income producing property?
I'm gonna say 30. Because I got in real estate at age 27 and then at age 30. So I've been an investor for a long damn time.
and Katie's not 30. And she just had her first one, so it's okay
Oh, yeah.
if you're over 30 and you haven't yet.
It absolutely, this isn't a one shoe fits all
Or over
kind of a
40.
thing. Some people might not want to own real estate at all.
I know, I'm
I have
bad.
a
at
sister-in-law and
ignoring the
brother-in-law. I
secretaries.
tried to get them to keep their house when they built their house. Spent hours of my life telling them they are the wrong people to own real estate, you know? So don't buy it. But if you can handle the calls, if you can handle calling somebody for rent, if you can handle some of those things, then real estate's a great asset to own. I always tell people too, name me a rich person that doesn't own real estate. I don't think they can exist. Somewhere they own real estate.
It's the best way for making money.
Yeah, it's a great way, but get lots of streams.
I'll make a
of-
recommendation when we talk about number one on being patient, it will grow. If you've not read the book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy,
Oh,
I would recommend it.
I don't know if you were in there. Here's the top 5 books, and I've read three of the 5. I've read.
Thanks.
I just love the conversation about it. Again, it's
I know.
like top
I
of
do
mind, you know, if we're talking about it regularly, it'll happen.
Yeah.
But if we're not,
You know, it's much like when you, not that I've had a baby, but it's much like when your spouse or whoever has a baby, as soon as that baby's born, what are they asked? What's his name? When are you gonna have your next one? So when are you gonna buy your next?
let's buy one this year. Buy one this year.
I mean, and that's what you need to be thinking about. It's not just buying one property. If you can, buy a second one, buy a third one. And if you get big enough, you know what, there's property managers that can watch it for you.
We have a new partner.
You have a new partner that would do that, so.
I would love to never own an investment property ever
Yeah,
again.
and you know, Chris, I'm glad you said that. That's so cool because your personality must not be a good fit for it. But invest in other things.
I get too attached. And then I'm like, but you
Well-
broke the light switch.
So what else are you gonna do then?
That's a great question.
Build your profit share?
So,
Feed your 401?
or maybe if you have a conversation around some of your limiting beliefs of a income property, rental property, then maybe you might have a different outlook on it and say, oh, I didn't really look at it that way or think about it that way. Because, you know, you hear the horror stories of it and you do have to have some patience around the
Yeah,
whole thing.
I don't have patience. We've had 2 investment properties. We've had more, but
Yeah.
Megan, you own rental real estate. What's the advantage to it? What do you see as the advantage to it?
I feel like I could own a multi-unit.
I mean.
Well, really?
building.
Wealth
I
building.
hear about it.
And it's also given me the opportunity to, I think, I don't want to say fight, I don't know if fight is the word, but fight blight. Remove blight in the neighborhoods and like bring up the neighborhoods.
I've heard you talk about
That's
that.
nice.
Yeah.
Do you manage all of yours, Megan?
Working on not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready to not be managed.
Yeah, Fox.
Scott, I'll say this, whether it's been rental properties that I've owned in the past, continue to own, or the set pieces of money that go out of my accounts on a monthly basis automated. If I couldn't have automated something, if I couldn't have bought that first rental property and kind of had to work at it, but kind of let it go and time took care of certain things. I think it's just that getting started piece for people and whatever investment you're talking about. And then the easier you can make it, right? An automation, you don't miss the $300 a month, whatever that looks like. Boy, you get a year, 5 years, 10 years down the road, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you really haven't done that
Yeah.
much for it.
Yeah.
You put some disposable income here or there.
Right.
And I think that's the success that I would speak to.
Yeah. And remember, and Chris, and this isn't directed at you.
You can direct
don't
it at
have
me,
to
it's
buy
okay.
rental real estate. But 5 years from now, you can look back, not you. if you don't buy any rental real estate, okay, you can look back 5 years ago, when would have been a good time to buy? You think the prices are high now? I just told you back in, I don't remember what year, but I bought a Southwood house. When were they $83,500? Okay, and now it's easily worth $250.
And
Like,
Christians,
had I not bought it, think about this, had I not bought that house, I wouldn't have that $250 in equity on it right now. It's that, I don't want to simplify it, but it's just that.
yeah, Christian's little house that he had, I mean, we were literally on Zillow yesterday looking things up and chatting about it a little bit. He bought that house like for 133, and that was 4 years ago or something, you know, it wasn't 20 years ago, but 133, and you know, it's worth much more than that, so that helps his net worth statement look a little differently than it would.
And you know, go ahead.
The other thing
Finish.
that I would say though is, not talking about investment properties, and I missed part of the conversation, but, you know, having a good financial advisor partner, somebody that you like, that I had somebody before, and whenever I would go visit with them, it was almost like I was going to the dentist. Like I felt like, oh, I don't want to go. I wasn't excited. I just felt, I was putting it off. And then I found a new guy that I liked, and he was somebody that came in here and talked, and I just connected with him, and I've enjoyed my
You
conversations.
mind sharing?
Bruce Paul's Rude, Thrivent Financial. He's got a very hard name. Bruce Paul's Rude.
I sold the son house.
Pardon me?
I sold the son Andrew.
Yeah, with Thrivent Financial. So I like him. I've gotten into like a set it and forget it mindset of investing. And that money too grows. Every year you can see how it grows. And when you get your end of the year statement and you put it in your little thing and it shows, you know, more money, that's really awesome. And, you know, but don't forget to go to your appointments with them. You have to go and you have to keep up. And we, you know, we have simples and we have SEPs, and some people can do Roths and some people can do this. I mean, that type of investment is extremely important as well.
How long have you been doing a net worth statement?
5 years maybe.
5 years? And you've seen it grow and.
Here's a question on Zoom. Well, thank you from Huron for your wisdom and teaching. And then Christy said, do any of the participants today sell properties, contract for deed as income production?
Probably not. I mean, I don't know anybody that's doing that.
I buy them that way, if there's an opportunity.
Yeah.
So why would you buy it? What's the advantage to buy it?
To buying the contract for deed.
Doesn't tie up your other money for
Yeah, it
other
doesn't
investment
tie up your,
properties.
exactly, and it doesn't show on your, against your loans.
Have you done that before?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
keep trying to buy them off, like pay it off, and the guy's like, no,
Thanks for.
how about we just renegotiate? And he usually wants to give me a very fair rate, and like, they're worth so, I've been buying them off him for, I don't know, 15 years. And
Yes.
he's happy to spread out his capital gains and just have that monthly, and it's so cheap compared to what I'm able to rent it for,
Yeah,
like.
yeah. Yeah,
Everybody
we do
wins.
so little of that anymore that most people don't even.
My lawyer put us
Into the
in
what?
touch, and yeah, I haven't been able to get.
And maybe find somebody that has been an investor over the years that is wanting to diversify and get out, and you be his solution, just like you were on that. That's a really good strategy.
Oh, one of your kids.
So
I-
those who
Chris
are
picked
hesitant
up
about
more
buying
back.
investment properties, I would just think about this. I often think about the butterfly effect of real estate, how one thing you do compounds and has ripples further on. The first investment property I bought in Rantoul for $46,000. In my leases, I put a clause that says, hey, if you want to buy a house and use me as your buyer's agent, I'll be flexible on your lease ends.
Yep.
So I have people move here from Las Vegas to rent my property in Rantoul. We started looking for a house right away. I sold them a house and taxed it. Then, and then they decided that they wanted to move back to Vegas. So then I listed the house I sold them, sold to an agency. And they moved back to Las Vegas. And they said, well, we can't buy investor properties there, we want to buy another property. So I sold another one of my listings I had in Rantoul. And then they had bad property managers. They said they want to sell that, they sold that one. So, and so when I think about this, if you look at the amount of commission I made from just those people, it probably paid for at least half the house I bought. Yeah.
Probably.
And so put a clause in your lease that says,
Yeah.
if you're their agent and they buy a house.
I have an appointment today with a tenant to buy a house, today, this afternoon. Well, she just cancel it. So we'll see. You know, if you buy $1 million worth of real estate, you pay it off, what do you have? $1 million. Hate to simplify it down, but that's pretty much what it really is, right?
But somebody else paid it off for you.
That somebody else paid it off. Yeah. Mike, did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to share, in my journey of doing this over the years and so on, is the concept of leverage. I bought a property in 1979. That was the first one when I came here in 72. After that, working with someone, Sam Irwin, you might be knowing, was an attorney, and his girlfriend, I don't know, I remember her name, realtor. They had a property on Clark Street.
His girlfriend.
He had it, yeah, he had that. That was shocking to me. It should not be to you. Anyway, whatever, together they owned the property in all of Clark Street. And so it was 6 unit, old house, 6 unit, and so on. Possessing $75,000, which I thought was reasonable at that time, but I couldn't afford it. So I went with my friend, as a partner who was here for a long time buying real estate. And we said, you know what, it's good and this and that, but we really can't afford that much. And we kind of negotiated and brought them down to almost like 65,000 or so. And he said, okay, that's fine. And then later on we said, we can do that, maybe how about 60? And he agreed to do that. I said, okay, that's fine. They were in a big rush because they were getting separating or whatever it is and wanted to move to Florida. So finally they asked them, okay, can you sell it on contract, which he did. At that time, the rates were about 16-18% in 1979. They were just one of those. We bought it at 8.5%, which I thought was good, which was enough to make up payments. We fix up the, every time we fix up the rooms and this and jack up the rent. And I just wanted to know, as far as increasing the rent, if you increase the rent by only $1 per unit, $1, that means it's $12 per year. The GRM, gross rent multiplier, makes the value go up by 8 times. So if you have a property with $1,000, you jack up, $50 or $100, you can imagine 8 times. So that's quite a bit. They were using formula at that time and still. Anyway, now, after a long time, it was all paid off and everything. So we were getting the rent.
Yeah.
We enjoyed the journey from 83, 84 till now.
And the point of that is you bought a property for 60 or 65.
Sold it for $500,000.
And you sold it for $500,000.
Wow.
There you go. That
was on
that's
campus.
what. And if you buy real estate, those are good stories, and everybody will have their own. And if you don't buy real estate, there's Kristen. If you don't buy real estate, invest your money somewhere else. Build your profit share plan up. Do whatever. So.
Yeah, real estate is one of the best.
Build a
vehicles.
business.
One of the best vehicles for building wealth.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Always love the topic. Thank you. There's applause. Thank you, Nikki.
I called Nikki in to make sure I didn't mess it up.
Do you want the list of what now, the books?
Well, I mean, they're probably.
Yeah.
You want it back?
No, you have it. Thank you.
Can I have a list of books so I can share it in the thingy? With your thing, with your,
I have,
oh, you
Oh,
only have
I-
it here.
and that it was.
That was the only copy that I had. Oh, I didn't have anybody else.
People with Diana.
5
Passport, so that's why I gave it to
It's
you.
that
I have 5
Just
lists.
law.
All in house.
Nice to meet you, and Jewel.
That was last.
You own,
Um,
you own